1 week since the devastating floods ripped through the New South Wales northern rivers, and the scale of the damage is still unimaginable.
People are hurting, people are struggling, people are angry. You know, a lot of people are thinking this is a mountain too high that we have to climb.
It's very difficult to get your head around it. It's destroyed thousands of homes, and there's probably 25 to 30,000 people without a home at the moment.
Homes like Christine Blizzard's father's. She flew in from Darwin to help her dad.
The smell is rank, the feeling's awful. I don't want to get too emotional about it, you know, it's just got to keep going. Just keep going, get it done, start again.
Apocalyptic scenes as locals find refuge in evacuation centres.
Lost everything we had, and my partner's just been taken to hospital now. So I don't know where we go, what we do.
These shelters are doubling as makeshift medical centres, doctors treating patients on the sidewalk.
People are a bit disorientated. There was another back centre in Lismore. They put an SOS out on Saturday night saying we need nursing staff, we need people to help.
The staff are absolutely excellent, but they're overrun, no doubt.
And the people are at breaking point.
These evacuation centres, it's often the people who have almost nothing who lose the little that they have, and that's what we've seen in this disaster.
After delays in deployment, the ADF is finally there, clearing debris from some of the hardest hit towns. But locals are still bearing the brunt.
It's probably only 25% in of the acute phase of recovery because there's still not power onto many places. There's no fresh water. People haven't got accommodation. There's health hazards, logistic issues. This is still what I would have thought it was a state of emergency, to be honest.
With many small towns still cut off and still underwater.
It's been the outlying little towns that have really been slow to get help, and the community has just really been the ones who've rescued their neighbours. That's what's happened. It's been the reality of it.
With large parts of the state bracing for more rain, it'll be a long road to recovery.
Well, we just heard there from Steve Krieg, Lismore's mayor, and he joins us now. Oh, Steve, it's hard to know where to begin. The devastation is just so hard to comprehend. We understand at least 2,000 homes lost, including your own. We're so sorry to hear that. How are you holding up?
Still wearing the same shirt, Carrie. Tells you something. And thanks for having me on. Good to see Steve Price in person. I've been on the radio show a few times. Good to see you, mate.
We're trying to look after you, Steve.
I appreciate it. You know, I'm holding up pretty good considering. I'm really lucky that I've got a pretty big distraction in front of me in trying to get my head around how to move forward. But Lismore's a tough town. We're a tough community, and we will move forward and we will rebuild, and looking forward to the challenge, to be honest with you.
It's hard to know where to begin, Steve, when you hear that, you know, people can't even drink the drinking water. It's contaminated. People are getting infected from cuts from when they've been trying to go in and help. People are still stranded. There's so many different issues at play. Where do you begin?
One step at a time, Carrie. That's all you can do. One morning at a time. You wake up, you have a look, you plan your day, and you crack in. And that's what the people are doing. You know, I'm looking at vision from last Monday, and what an amazing community that we live in. You know, 200-odd civilian boats rescuing 4,000 people. You know, it's an amazing community that we live in, and that's why when all of these politicians are talking about moving Lismore and all this sort of rubbish, you know, Lismore people love Lismore. We want to be here. We know that Lismore's on a flood zone. We understand that. We're designed to cope with floods. We're not designed to cope with a natural disaster, which we've been hit with.
I guess the fear is those natural disasters might become more common, especially with something like climate change. I hear what you're saying about the community and not wanting to move. I suppose if you built somewhere else, you could still have the community. It would just be somewhere else. Why are you so opposed to the idea that if this place is to be rebuilt, that this community be rebuilt somewhere else?
Well, Ed, it's not just me, mate. I'm sitting in our council chamber right now, which is 10 k's about from the CBD. And, You know, this was built 40 odd years ago with the grand plan to move Lismore up into the hills. And, you know, it's sitting up here by itself, mate, because Lismore people didn't want to move. There's an identity, there's a link, you know, there's history. There's fourth generation shopkeepers in our CBD whose great-great-grandfathers and mothers built their business, and they're carrying on that tradition. And, you know, we will lose businesses, we will lose residents. There's no question about that. But if you had to walk down our main street 2 weeks ago and ask for a retail store to rent, you wouldn't have been able to get one. And it was only 5 years after the 2017 flood that everyone was saying the same thing.
Hang in there, mate. You'll be right. The government say they're sending a whole lot of extra people there. I don't quite believe it. I don't think you've got the financial or the physical help you deserve, but we'll keep talking about it and try and get it on the road for you.
All the best, Steve.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate your time.